Welcome back to the VR Aperture, your source for the most detailed news in virtual reality and reviews from an engineer's perspective. I am Destroy Troy, and I will be your host of the Aperture. This week we will be returning to our multi-part review series on the Valve Index Virtual Reality Kit by exploring Visor Construction. Part 4, Visor Construction. So starting off, overall, the Valve Index looks like a rugged piece of equipment. Just the overall look compared to this, the Vive, the original Vive, this looks more like a toy, and this looks like more like a professional or enterprise version. The head strap is very rugged and sturdy. I like the material for the strap itself. Just in the strap, you can tell a significant difference in the material. This is much thicker material. The flip down Pro strap, it feels very sturdy. It has a little bit of flex, which you would want because you want the strap to give a little bit for each individual's unique head, especially mine. The cushions in this version are much nicer looking. They also feel really nice, but take a look at this versus this. Just look at the difference between the cushions on this versus this. This just looks way better. In addition to the cushion being nice and soft and being of a higher quality appearance, you have the cushion that goes all the way around, and you tighten down the ratchet. It just cinches down. It's a nice warm hug feel at first. I say at first, I'll get more onto that in a moment. This is actually an antimicrobial, so it should remain cleaner, more sanitary. Another key point is the cord. The cord is quite flexible in comparison to the Vive. And I'll just kind of give you a demonstration here. See, it just drops, it just unfurls with very little resistance. Another way I can demonstrate the flexibility of the cord is when you're trying to coil it back up. So like, look here, this is like kind of what I mentioned. It's like, it's got memory. It wants to go back to this shape. So I've mentioned since before the Valve even arrived, my largest concern, even probably, I think it was in my original first video, was going to be what material Valve was going to use for the lenses. Because my complaint with HTC was that the lenses just accumulated scratches out of nowhere. And there's a lot of talk on the internet about where these scratches are coming from. I think it's most likely from debris in your eyelashes, constantly swiping the plastic lenses and it putting in scratches, because they're all in this direction. They're all pretty much like this. And I don't think I can show it to you, like bring up the mask and show you the scratches, but you can maybe be able to see like that the glass is kind of foggy or not really all that clear versus, and I'm happy to report that I have, as of yet, not a single scratch in my lens, in the lenses of my Valve Index. So if I show you, like, I'm not going to be able to show you there's no scratches here by holding up the camera to the lenses, but by comparison, you can kind of see how much clearer those lenses are. I do have 2 points I'd like to mention that are less than stellar. You start to realize after you've worn it for a while that there's actually not enough padding, or at least not in my opinion. I think that it could do with a little bit more padding. And this back portion here of the strap, I think could be a little bit more flexible. It flexes a little bit, and maybe like a shoe, it'll become more flexible with time. But I want you to feel right back here, right behind your ears. There's a little soft lump right there. And if you just take your finger and apply just a moderate amount of pressure there for about 10-15 seconds, very quickly you start to get a headache or a pretty uncomfortable feeling from that pressure. So if you pull this back strap down too far, and what it does is the strap will actually push against these soft parts on both sides of your head, and with the ratcheting being tightened down, that will cause a great amount of discomfort rather quickly. So I wish this was a little bit more flexible. That situation can be avoided by tightening the strap on top and not dropping this down quite so far. I will be coming out with a video to help you optimize the fit of your valve index visor and your index controllers. But in the meantime, I would just say that if you're getting discomfort from the strap pushing here, to just tighten this down and not let this come down quite so far. And that wraps up today's video on Visor Construction. We appreciate you visiting the VR Aperture once again, and we hope you have a great rest of your week.